Welcome, folks, to It's About Your Paycheck, episode 8. We're going to talk about saving and investing in different ways to battle the holiday spend. What's up, Walt? How you doing, sir?
I'm good. And just to let you know that it's just not just for specifically for holiday spending. You can use these tips throughout the entire year, for the rest of your
Absolutely.
life if you want. But we want to make an emphasis on the holidays because it is holiday season, right?
Yeah, this is the season. This is when folks it becomes real, right? We're using those real moments to help you guys out, and hopefully it'll stick all year long. And we'll get right in, folks, right? These are, again, the holiday spend is here. We want to give you some tips, some tools to battle that spending. So here's a breakdown of things employees should consider, and not just employees, us as
Anybody.
humans. Yeah,
Mhm.
anybody should consider in regards to saving, including ways to save money without spending money. That's my favorite. And ways that, of course, there are other things that you got to spend a
No
little
effort
money,
in.
little
Yeah.
effort to save money. I'll get right into it. We talk about budgeting all the time. The number one thing is budgeting. But I would even say before, yeah, it's a create a budget. Start by tracking, right? Because we got to track the past to budget the future. And start by tracking the income and expenses. Use budgeting tool apps to make it easier. Heck yeah. And if you use any type of card, they have a portal. You can go download those transactions. You can go integrate into those transactions to these apps, and it'll bring all your financial stuff into one dashboard, right? And it doesn't cost you anything. It costs you time. So you got to invest a little time in that.
Yeah.
Build up an emergency fund because as we've learned, I believe it's 50 or 60% of Americans
60.
do do not have, thank you, do not have at least $1,000 in cash for emergency fund. Do
Oof.
not have it. Yeah, and I've been there most of my life.
That could be
So,
tires. You could need all new
yeah,
tires. You could
yeah.
need a new engine, a new anything that's
Oh,
just a car.
yeah,
Not even
yeah.
the expenses for the house, anything that may happen, your water heater may
Yep.
need to be upgraded or whatever, like your condo. There's so many different things that can easily, like, take $1,000, like, in an instant.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely,
Yep.
and you might say, "Oh, I got it on credit," but there's other things that cash is really so keep that in mind. And
Mhm.
again, track your spending, monitor your spending habits. As I shared on another show, one year I did this and we learned that we basically stopped buying coffee after I did this. I was in New York still, and this is years back, and we spent like $3,000 on coffee one year. And it broke down to $300 a month, whatever. And it's a lot of money. But if you don't put this into perspective, you're never gonna feel like you're never gonna have the power. You're never gonna see it. You're never gonna, it's just coffee. It's $2. That's $2, $3. Nope. Nope. That stuff adds up. Number two, try to reduce some of your expenses. Okay. If you cut unnecessary expenses, identify again, tracking is key to this because you don't know what's unnecessary unless you do a tracking. And I would say start with the last 3 months. I'm a no we're numbers people, right? We do this for a living. So I go back the whole year. But honestly, I only do it once a year at the end of the year. If I feel like we're really tight for some reason, I might look back and be like, why are we so tight right now? And look at what we're at. But anywho, if you track, you can cut unnecessary. Okay. Tracking is super important. Sorry to keep repeating that, but it'll highlight where you're spending money on eating out, highlight where your subscription is, right? All the subscriptions that we have and Hulu and Disney and Netflix and la da. Even
Those things that you don't watch.
things I didn't you just told me you found you had or when you did it once you had two of the same subscription?
I had 2 of the same subscriptions. I had 2 Netflix subscriptions on the 2 different emails, and I was paying them both. I was like, "What the heck?"
That happens with me. Hey, got something on this and shoot on another damn, but yo, we got what are you doing? Anyway, um,
Mhm.
so cut unnecessary expenses. Shop smart. Look for sales. Look for discounts. Ooh, this is where my tips come in. Yeah, I love this part. Look for discounts. Buy generic. Buy and consider buying in bulk. One of my personal examples here is parchment paper. I know for parchment paper, boring, but I like cooking and parchment paper is a great help when you're cooking, right?
Mhm.
But I also don't want to spend the money. But ooh, it's 3 or 4 bucks for one little thing. Dollar Tree has it for $1. So
Yeah.
when I'll go and buy 10 of them at a time, and that's a way I'm saving money because that's lasting me months, and I'm not having to spend the $3 to get the fancy parchment paper.
Yep. Buy in bulk. You can go to Costco, Sam's, those
Yeah,
big department stores that you can buy those things in bulk. And it's not that much more when you buy it like that from a Costco or Sam's. It may be a few bucks more, but it lasts you so much longer. And it's a
yeah,
one-time purchase. Like I bought TP and paper towels and for myself, and
yes,
it lasted me like
yes,
half a year or more, the majority of the year just for me.
yeah. The call out with the bulk, with the big box bulk stores is because 'cause I've been there, right? You make a mistake and you think, "Oh my gosh." And what comes to mind is ketchup. We used to buy in Costco and BJ's, the big ketchup in the 2 pack. We didn't eat ketchup quick enough. So one of them ended up like, I honestly, both of them, I think, ended up expiring before we could use it. So keep
Yeah.
that in mind too, folks. You don't wanna go out, "Oh, but" 1, you have to invest in a big
Look at the key.
box.
Look at this key word here.
What's that? Items in bulk and non-perishable. Yes, thank you. Non-perishable. That is the good call out there. And what else? And then you do have to invest in the membership. If that's a big thing, you need they'll let you go in the first day without
Yeah.
like, "Hey, I wanna come in and I wanna compare." They'll let you go in.
And it may balance out, right? Because you may find
You
that
got
at the end of
yeah.
the day, you may end up that one membership, that one annual membership that you're paying for is a
It's
one-time
once a
fee,
year. Correct.
and so, like, if you take that, say it's $100 but if you divide that annual fee over 12 months,
Yeah.
that's really that monthly amount that you're
Yep.
really spending. So if you think about that, 100 divided by 12, that's less than $10 a month.
Yeah. Is Costco $100?
It's about 100.
Oh, dang. BJ's is cheaper than that. So, anywho, that is yes, but that was my point. Like, make sure that the juice is going to be worth the squeeze. That you're investing in this membership, but that you're actually going to buy stuff there that saves you in the long run. So,
Yep.
great call out there. So that was reducing expenses. The next one is saving without spending money. I love this one. Oh, there it is. Round up. So automate your savings, meaning put in $10 out of your check, or $10 goes from checking
Fives,
to
even it's
savings.
fives.
Whatever the
Okay.
amount is, something you can afford. You start somewhere,
Mhm.
right? Some banks offer, and also Acorn is an app that offers a roundup. Not only that, you can round up your purchases and save the difference, but I like
Mhm.
Acorn because Acorn allows you to round up and invest the difference.
Yeah, good example.
Powerful word, invest.
Mhm.
Okay. And then, oh, the last one with saving without spending. Love this. Sell unwanted items. Declutter. And you don't got to do garage sales anymore because they have Let It Go and a few other apps that Facebook
Mhm.
marketplaces and all this.
Yep,
Everybody has a marketplace now. Everybody
yep.
wants you to sell on their platform. Go for it.
You're just sitting on some money.
You sitting on money. You sitting on money. Yeah, those are great ways to. Oh, I got another one. There was but it goes in to reduce your electric bill. Let me
Yeah.
look. Maybe I got some little side ones I was thinking of. Okay, another one here is bring your food from home for lunch every day to work. Right? If you work out of the house, it's so hard for people, right? Because you get caught, especially if you work in a place where there's like amazing food options around. If I worked in Manhattan for most of my career, like the first 20 years of my career, and is like it I never wanted to bring food because I could grab a slice
Yeah.
of pizza. I could grab we call it street meat. It was, the I know. It was like yeah, it was the guys who had the kiosks on the corner,
Yeah, yeah,
whatever
yeah,
that hot dogs, burgers, like,
yeah.
rice and chicken, like but I would only go to the one that had a line because that's the good ones, the ones that have lines. Gave that little that's a little the free game for New York. Switching if you can switch to remote work, if you can get a remote job, boom, you instantly save money.
Or even
You know what I
hybrid.
mean? Even hybrid will save you money. So these are things that you can do without spending money, right? If
Give
you
them
say,
examples of how, right? Because if you're remote, gas,
"Oh,
car payment,
gas, the car
all the different
maintenance,
things. Yeah.
the
Mhm.
the temptation to eat out,"
Mhm.
that's gone because I make sure you can deliver. But you're home now. You have zero excuse to not just eat, you know what I mean? And
Yep.
another way, and I have it here somewhere, is if you can automate your diet, this saves you not only can you lose some weight, so but you can also save money because if you're the type of person that can just eat the same thing every day for lunch, I can.
Breakfast, lunch,
Yeah,
dinner.
breakfast or lunch, yeah, dinner is tough, right? Because in all these things, you have to be mindful of your household and your partners and all that. But if you
Yeah.
can do it, what's up?
I remember for the leftover piece, and then I'll let you know because for the sake of time, but I dated someone once who refused to eat leftovers. So they would
Mhm.
cook a nice big meal
It's
and
crazy.
then they would not eat what they had remaining left over for the next day for lunch or dinner. And then they would just throw away what they didn't eat. I'm just like,
That's crazy.
yeah, like
That's
that's a
crazy.
waste of money. Like
You should throw money
literally,
away.
you're throwing away that food
It
is money.
Yep, yep. I told my little one like that one time. I was like, What you're doing is if I give you $5, just throw away 3." And she said, "Oh, no, that doesn't make sense." Neither does you not finishing that food. I
Mhm,
mean, because you can always take more. Take a little bit at a time. Excited about the ways to save money without spending money, right? We
mhm.
talked about the savings, automate your savings, but you actually have to capture your savings and save it, right? So if you just put
Ooh,
it in a savings account, but then you end up spending it every 2 weeks, come on, you're not saving money. You're giving
actually save
yourself an
it.
illusion of saving.
Yes. Yeah,
You have to
actually
actually
save it.
save it.
Actually
Yes.
say that means do not touch.
Do not touch it. Do not touch it.
Mhm,
And there's other ways to go about the math, be realistic about how much you're saving, because if you end up touching it
mhm.
all the time, then guess what? You can't afford to save. You got to go through that process. Here's a great one. Don't live on your OT or your bonuses.
Ooh, yes,
Okay.
yes,
Or
yes.
your raise, all three of them raise. If you get a raise, people get a raise, boom, they buy a new car. Boom.
Yep,
Don't have a raise now. You just have a new car.
yep.
You know what I mean? If you're in a great financial situation, then that's fine. But if you're struggling in any way, and 70% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, so guess what? Most of us fall in that bucket.
Yeah.
You gotta chill. You can't live on OT.
Yep.
Yeah, I used
You're
to
right.
tell folks all the time, "Yo, my OT I didn't get no OT. They're cutting OT." Blah, blah. Hey, bro, you can't live on OT.
Yep. You can't make that the be all end all
It
for you.
can't be your part of your budget. You can't start planning on that because companies will cut OT in a second.
Cut OT in a second. You may find yourself getting switched from they might not even cut OT. They could switch you can get a promotion and switch from hourly
Oh,
to salary,
ooh,
and you'll be like, "Oh, geez. Have to do I have
you
to
may
go?"
and look, so the best way they do it is they factor in your OT and they make your salary commensurate with what you made in OT in the last year. But guess what? Now you're not overtime eligible. So OT is gone.
Yep.
Okay, love that. Don't live on OT, don't live on bonuses, and don't spend more when you make more,
Yep.
right? Um, all right, boom. Number 3 was saving without spending money. Number
Mhm,
4 is reducing your electric bill. This is great, okay? Energy efficient appliances, sealing and insulation. If you're anywhere, sealing and insulation, meaning keep the cold out or the hot out and the cool or the heat in, right? That's important because it's going to affect your electric bill. Adjust your thermostat. Wintertime comes in the north and you start seeing the posts and the jokes about, hey kids, keep your coats on. You cold, put a sweater on. And it
mhm,
gets real up there. Adjust your thermostat. Use LED bulbs. That's a good
yep,
one. It is a spend to save one though. So just be
mhm.
mindful of that. And unplug devices. I'll go even one step further. I saw this lady on TikTok. I loved it. She was now, again, something that you have to consider is only works in certain situations, but she was shutting her breakers down. Okay.
Mhm.
She was literally shutting breakers down. And for the most part, that's brilliant because if you're out of the house most of the day,
Yeah.
and if you know what I'm saying, of course it depends on your situation. But if you can pull that off, she said she cut her bill in half.
Yeah. My something that my stepdad and my mother do, they shut off the hot water heater for majority of the day. So when you wash your hands, it's cold water and stuff like that. And if you notice, when you go to certain like public places, well, no matter which side of the faucet you turn on, they're both cold.
Cold. Yeah, that's
Okay,
right.
because they're probably doing the same thing. They probably shut off the hot water
Or
heater
don't use it at all.
to save some
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
And people don't think about it. And my sister did it, and she was like, "Hey, yeah, thanks for
Save
sharing
money.
the trick." And then I only turn it on when I need the shower, then I turn it back off.
Yep. You got to do what works, figure out what works for you. And
Yep.
that's perfect segue, sir. You go ahead and finish us out.
All right. Number 5, save through investing. So
Yeah.
whether that's 401k, retirement plans, the IRAs, those are all different types of savings. You need to look at those as saving and investing in yourself, right? You want to diversify your investments by spreading them across different asset classes to reduce the risk. So there's always a risk in certain investments, whether that's crypto, whether that's IRAs or whatever you may get
Stocks, yeah,
into,
mutual
stock,
fund.
like those are all
Anything
different things.
investing is a risk.
Yeah, but you can potentially save. And there's a long-term perspective in the, like they say, the long game. You play the long game. So you invest in something and you're not looking for an immediate return, but you
Right.
may have a return in a few years or decades. And you want to make sure that you avoid emotional reactions to market fluctuations. Just don't pull out all your money because you see a little bit of a loss in this quarter or the next quarter, but it may shoot up, it may skyrocket in the next few months or years, and then you'll feel silly because you pulled all your investments out because of those different things that have occurred, right? And then the most important thing in all this is saving through investing is getting that professional advice, right?
Yeah.
Is making sure that you talk to someone who is a certified professional in the investment structure or investment strategy that you're trying to get involved with, right? So make sure you get that professional advice, right? Don't trust anybody that's willy-nilly doing their own thing because people can be scammed by that. You have people on social media professing themselves to be traders and they're just taking people's money. So avoid those things.
Oh,
Uh,
and I'm sorry, just to call out, an actual professional trader actually cannot do social media.
yeah.
Okay. So
Mhm.
think about who you're listening to, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure. Number 6, some additional tips. Set financial goals. Define short-term and long-term financial goals and create a plan to achieve them. So it's not just good to just think about it and talk about it. You need to actually create a plan for these. Some debt management. Pay down those high interest debts such as credit card balances as quickly as possible. Like Brian said earlier, 60-70% of Americans don't have $1,000 saved in case of emergency. So when you use that credit card, you're not going to be able to pay the balance down in one fell swoop. And you're going to be paying interest on that. So think about that. You're not really saving money. You're going to end up paying more to pay that credit off over the long run,
Mm.
right? So that's something to think about. You want to review your insurance. Lots of people don't like to change their insurance policies, but you might be able to save more by switching your car insurance or your health insurance. You got to think about those are different ways to save money and you can still get the same great coverage. And then the last thing, probably the most important thing, is number 7, a regular review of your finances. So if you do that monthly, weekly, how you need to do it as much as possible in order to save. And like Brian said, I don't know if it was this episode or another one, you want to create a plan, right? You want to create that tracking. That's the first part of it, right? You want to make sure that you do those things and develop something because you just don't want to be willy-nilly and just be inconsistent. This takes consistency. This
Yep.
takes practice. That's the thing. Nobody's perfect. It's like exercise, right?
Yep.
You're not gonna get in shape overnight. Financial fitness kind of way, right? Hey, I'm working my finances. I'm working my savings. I'm working my brain power and how I do this. And then you're gonna eventually become fit. This is a part of financial wellness, right?
Yep.
We hope that you took these tips and I hope that you remember that saving money and building wealth requires discipline and consistency, right? Discipline and consistency. If you're trying to save, but you don't have discipline, you're doing yourself a disservice, right? By following these guidelines, you can make significant progress towards your financial goals while also preparing for a more secure future. Remember what our slogan is for this show. Your journey in financial wellness starts here with us, right? And so we're just giving you information to empower you, to help encourage you, to let you know that, hey, You can do this. You just have to start and keep it up, right?
Yep, absolutely. Your first step
Yeah.
in your financial wellness starts with us.
Yep.
Don't forget, folks, check us out. It's about your paycheck.com. Check us out on TikTok. If you're interested in learning more about payroll, check us out on it'saboutpayroll.io. Me and Walt are on LinkedIn and all the platforms where you are. We are too. So check us out, folks. Thank you for the show.